ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ Thank you, Sangatji, for attending this week. Thank you, James Singh, for such beautiful words there, where you're sharing with us the beauty of oneness with us all. Sangatji, the first thing that we realize here, first thing is it doesn't matter where we come from, what tradition we follow. For the teachings of Guru Nanak were this very simple. They were directing us to have devotion to values, divine values. Not rituals, not traditions, not one way against another way, not my way and your way, not this judgment or that judgment. It was a devotion to values, not rituals. And in that devotion of values, then we realize who and what we really are, what James Singh was talking about. Who are we? Where have we come from? Now that we're here, what are we to do? And where are we going to go? It's these three fundamental questions that leads this soul into that journey of inquiry within, for it to experience that oneness, to merge back to its home. The Guru has told us again and again, Man tu jot sarupa hai, apna mool pachan. Saying to the mind, you are the image, you are that essence of the divine, you are the image, the beauty of the divine. That soul was once with the divine. Apna mool pachan. Realize your origin. From that place that we have come, from that silence we have come, realize and remember and reconnect with that silence once again, that source once again. Apna mool pachan. Deep within us, Sangatji, there's an inherent memory. Each and every one of us, Sangatji, has a preordained connection with the divine. And as that divine has created absolutely everything, we then have a preordained connection with each and every one of us, each and everything in creation. From the smallest insects to the largest of mountains, we are all connected, not just with other humans, but with all aspects of creation. Because all has come from this one divine source. From the smallest to the highest, everything comes under the divine's mercy, under the divine's grace, the 10th Master, Guru Gobind Singh Ji has said. Each and every one of us has a divine connection. Every soul has that connection with the divine. Deep within the soul, there's some memory of this time when we were connected, when we were one with the source. Just like our karmas and samsaras and our mental impressions have many different memories from all the different entanglements that we've been in, this soul, somewhere within it, has a memory of when it was once with that perfection, when it was once within the one, when it was once a part of that source, deep within it. The purpose of our mantra meditation, the purpose of our simran, the purpose of coming to Sangat, the purpose of this vichara, this contemplation, the purpose of our kirtan, the purpose of all the rituals that we do, is to reignite that memory, for us to remember, rejoin that one divine soul that's sitting within us, to reconnect with that source. All of this is an act of remembrance. It's about rediscovering that connection of who we are. This soul has a unique way, Sangatji, because inherently this soul has the ability to tell the difference, to differentiate between spiritual pursuits, spiritual truth, and worldly distractions. In fact, Sangaji, we don't have to learn anything because we know everything inside us already. All knowledge, all wisdom is sitting within us because the soul deep down knows its true essence. We have nothing to learn. We have everything to remember. And this soul has this inherent wisdom within itself that it can tell the difference between spiritual truth and worldly distractions. The Gurbani gives this as an example of a swan. According to Indian mythology, according to the spiritual practices, the traditions of the Guru Granth Sahib, they will talk about the swan. The swan has this beautiful character that it can separate milk and water. It will distill the milk from water if they're mixed. In the same way, this swan-like soul of ours has such a beautiful ability to tell the difference between the Maya, the illusion in this world, but also what's a spiritual attribute, what's a spiritual home for us. In the end, our union, coming back to that one divine, is all in their will. This eventual union for us is all in their divine plan. Just like that swan that eventually finds the main stream, the lake, the river, the sea. Our soul, just like the rivers flowing, trying to find that ocean, will eventually go back home. Just something to ponder upon, Sangaji. Sometimes these thoughts might crash down any doctrines that we may have had, any judgments that we've been placed upon us, any interpretations that have been placed upon us. But if you indulge me for a few seconds, if the divine is all merciful, if the divine is one, if the divine is all loving, if that inner nature of the divine is to be merciful, to be forgiving, to be all loving, then that same divine will have no judgments, no anger. When we talk about the divine as being the judge, when we talk about the divine in a fearful way, one to be feared, it's not consistent with the idea of the divine being merciful, forgiving. Because their inner nature is one of love. In the same way, if the divine soul is split in each and every one of us, then there's no way that this soul will not eventually find its way home. Because to do so will be the divine denying its own self, and that's not possible. The divine cannot deny itself. The question is, are we ready to go home? And until we're ready to go home, until we're ready to remember who we are, we still wander around in the glamour. We still wander around in the distractions. We still wander around not knowing our true essence, Mantu Jyotsrupa, not knowing who we are. And until that time, this soul will suffer that anguish of separation, whether it realizes it or not. But anything separate from the divine is pure anguish, pure pain, pure tension, pure anxieties, waves and waves of mental instability, waves and waves of constant aspirations, hopes, desires, anxieties, worries, waves and waves of karma that we are building. Before we find our way, till we realize that actually, you know what, we don't want this anymore. We want to go back home. But in the end, there's no other place but to go but home. And there's no way the divine will not open that door for us, because to do so will be denying their own true essence, which is not possible. And in their blessings, this is when we come to the door of mukti, that door of liberation, that emergence. When we finally realize, when the soul finally realizes its true essence, and that ego drops, and it realizes who and what it really is, and it realizes that none of this world is true, that this is all an illusion, and we need to go back home. And when that awareness comes, that's when we truly move on this path of liberation. That's when that swan, that soul-like swan, finds its lake. When we reflect on the Shabad, when we reflect on our meditations, this is our moment where we start to overcome that separation in our lives. And this is when we come to that unity, we start experiencing the unity, that oneness that James Singh is speaking of. When we meditate on these divine values and divine attributes, we start recognizing it not just in ourselves, but in everybody else. When we practically start serving everybody as if everything is a creation of the divine. When we start serving, thinking that everything that's external is also a part of me. I am a part of this universe. I am this universe. When we realize that everything is not separate, then we start simply just merge into that expression of oneness. We become that oneness. I'll finish with these words of Gurbani Sankaji that put this into practice. Constantly, the Gurbani is giving these messages to this soul, this mind that's wandering. And the Guru says, Mere jeedya pardesya, kita pave janjalera. This soul, why have you become such a stranger? Why do you fall into this entanglement? Sacha Sahib Manvasai ki fase jam jalera. That true divine sits within you. Why have you got caught in this trap? Machali vichuni nain runi jal badak paya. Just like that fish that's tearful when it leaves the water and is caught in the net. That is the state of our soul. Sansara maya moh meetha ant param chuka hai. And this love of Maya in the sweetness of this world. This is just a path of delusion and despair. How can we rid this? The Guru has said, Bhagata karachita lai, arasyo chorda mano andesya. Perform your worship. Realize your true essence. Put your consciousness in the divine. And in doing so, one by one, your anxieties will disappear. Sach kah nanak chet re man, jeedya pardesya. Nanak speaks the truth. From experience, focus that consciousness, and that soul will not be a stranger anymore, because it's realized its true essence and who and what it really is. Let's take that moment, Sanghaji, to bring these messages in our life, to focus on this contemplation. Tell yourself that you are bigger than what you are, that there's more to what you are, that you can be a part of something greater than what you are. Make this a part of your meditation. Make this a part of your daily thankfulness. And slowly we'll then walk back again into that path of oneness. And with these words, Sanghaji, I beg your forgiveness. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.